What makes a great leader? Is it authority? Is it power? Is it being the one in charge? I believe it's none of those things. True leadership isn't about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in our charge. It's about creating an environment where people feel safe, where they feel like they belong, and where they can be at their natural best. It's about inspiring people to do things they never thought they could. This isn't just a theory, it's a biological imperative. We are social animals, and we thrive when we feel a sense of trust and cooperation. When we feel safe among our own, the natural human response is to trust and cooperate. This is what great leaders do. They don't just manage the numbers, they lead the people. They understand that when their people feel supported and believed in, they will pour their hearts and souls into the work. They will go the extra mile not because they have to, but because they want to. This is the difference between a boss and a leader. A boss drives their employees. A leader coaches them. A boss depends on authority. A leader on goodwill. Today we're going to explore the fundamental principles that allow this to happen. We're not talking about management hacks or quick fixes. We're talking about the deep human principles that form the foundation of trust, inspiration, and lasting impact. These aren't just rules. They are the very essence of what it means to lead. They are the building blocks for creating teams that are not only successful, but also resilient, innovative, and deeply fulfilled. Let's start with the most important one of all. Welcome to Tutorial Channel, your expert guide to leadership mastery. In today's session, we uncover the 10 essential principles that define highly effective leadership, helping you lead with confidence, purpose, and impact. Let's dive in. It all starts with you, every single time. You can't ask your team to be accountable if you aren't accountable yourself. You can't ask for honesty if you aren't honest. The old saying, "Do as I say, not as I do," is the anthem of failed leadership. Why? Because we are wired to follow actions, not words. When a leader's actions are inconsistent with their words, it creates a fracture in the foundation of trust. It sends a clear message. The rules don't apply to everyone. And once that message is sent, you can't take it back. It erodes the very fabric of the team. Think about it in the simplest terms. If the leader is the first to cut corners, everyone else learns that cutting corners is acceptable. If the leader is the one who consistently shows up late, punctuality becomes optional for the entire organization. But if the leader is the one who rolls up their sleeves and helps out when things get tough, it demonstrates a commitment that goes beyond a title. It shows you're in it with them, not above them. This is the difference between being a leader of a team and simply managing a group of individuals. It's about earning respect, not demanding it. This consistency builds what I call a circle of safety. When people feel that their leader is one of them, that their leader upholds the same standards they expect of others, a profound sense of security develops. People stop spending their time and energy protecting themselves from each other and from their leadership. Instead, they can focus all of their talents and energy on the challenges and opportunities outside. They can innovate, they can collaborate, and they can take risks, knowing that their leader has their back. So the first rule is the most personal. Before you look at your team, look in the mirror. Are you modeling the behavior you want to see? Are you keeping your promises, big and small? Are you demonstrating the very values you preach? Because the standard you walk past is the standard you accept. Your actions don't just influence your team, they define the culture. They are the loudest message you will ever send, and people are always listening to what you do. Once you're living the example, you have to articulate the vision. But communication is more than just talking. It's about being understood. So many leaders think they're communicating when all they're really doing is issuing directives. They talk about the what and the how, what we need to do and how we're going to do it. But they completely miss the most important part. They forget to start with why. Why are we doing this? What is the purpose, the cause, the belief that inspires us to get out of bed in the morning? When you start with why, you give people a reason to care. You connect the daily tasks to a larger mission. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And the same is true for your team. They don't commit to a task, they commit to a cause. Explaining the why gives context and meaning to the work. It transforms a job into a crusade. It's the difference between saying, "I need you to lay these bricks," and saying, "I need you to help me build a cathedral." Both involve the same task, but the sense of purpose is worlds apart. Furthermore, great leaders understand that communication isn't a monologue, it's a dialogue. It's not just about broadcasting your message. It's about ensuring it's received and understood. This means adapting your style to your audience. Some people need data and charts. Others need stories and metaphors. The responsibility of communication lies with the communicator, not the listener. If your team doesn't understand, it's not their fault for not listening. It's your fault for not being clear enough. You must be willing to say it again, in a different way, until it resonates. This clarity and purpose foster an environment where people feel comfortable asking questions. When the why is clear, people are empowered to figure out the best how. They can make decisions on their own because they understand the desired outcome. They can innovate and solve problems because they are aligned with the ultimate goal. Clear communication, rooted in purpose, doesn't just inform, it inspires action. It builds a bridge from your vision to their reality and invites them to walk across it with you. Leadership is not about being the hero. It's not about having all the answers and being the smartest person in the room. In fact, if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. True leadership is about creating more leaders, not more followers. It's about empowering the people around you to step up, take ownership, and realize their own potential. This begins with trust. You have to trust your team enough to delegate not just tasks, but real responsibility. Delegation isn't just about offloading work you don't want to do. That's abdication. Strategic delegation is an active development. It's about identifying someone's strengths and giving them a challenge that will help them grow. It's saying, I trust your judgment on this. I trust you to see this through. When you give someone that trust, you give them a gift. You're telling them that you believe in them, and that belief can be a powerful motivator. It unlocks a level of performance that micromanagement could never achieve. Of course, empowerment isn't just about handing over a task and walking away. It's about providing the support, resources, and mentorship they need to succeed. It's about being a safety net. You let them take the lead, but you're there to catch them if they fall. You offer guidance, not commands. You ask questions that help them think through the problem, rather than just giving them the solution. This is how you build capability and confidence in your people. You let them learn by doing, knowing you are there to support them. And finally, when they succeed, you get out of the way. You give them the credit. You celebrate their achievements publicly. This does two things. First, it reinforces their sense of accomplishment and ownership. Second, it shows the rest of the team that success is recognized and rewarded. It creates a culture where people are eager to take on new challenges because they see a path for growth and recognition. When you empower others, you don't diminish your own power. You multiply it. You create a team of capable, confident, and motivated leaders. The world is constantly changing. Markets shift, technologies evolve, and new challenges emerge without warning. The leader who believes they have it all figured out is the one who is most vulnerable. The plan you made yesterday might be obsolete by tomorrow. This is why adaptability is not just a desirable trait. It's an essential survival skill for any leader. It's the capacity to pivot, to learn, and to embrace change, not as a threat, but as an opportunity. It is the definition of an infinite mindset. An adaptable leader is a perpetual student. They're driven by a deep sense of curiosity and a humility that acknowledges they don't have all the answers. They're constantly seeking new information, listening to different perspectives, and challenging their own assumptions. They read, they ask questions, and honestly, they listen more than they speak. This commitment to continuous learning allows them to see the world not just as it is, but as it could be. It equips them to anticipate shifts in the landscape and prepare their organization to navigate them. This mindset naturally leads to better planning. An adaptable leader doesn't create rigid, unchangeable plans. Instead, they build resilient strategies with built-in contingencies. They play out different scenarios. They ask, what if? What if our main supplier goes out of business? What if a new competitor enters the market? By thinking through these possibilities ahead of time, they're not caught off guard when disruption occurs. They can respond with calm and purpose, rather than panic and chaos, because they've already considered the path forward. Ultimately, this fosters a culture of agility throughout the entire team. When the leader embraces change, it gives everyone else permission to do the same. It encourages experimentation and learning from failure. It creates an organization that is not brittle and resistant to change, but flexible and resilient. In a finite game, the goal is to win by sticking to a known plan. But in the infinite game of business and leadership, the players change and the rules are malleable. The only way to thrive is to be ready and willing to adapt. Leadership is defined by the decisions you make. There will be moments when you have to make a call, often with incomplete information and under immense pressure. In these moments, hesitation can be as damaging as a bad decision. A leader's role is not to avoid risk, but to manage it. It's about weighing the available information, considering the potential outcomes, and then acting with conviction. This decisiveness provides clarity and momentum for the entire team. When a leader is indecisive, the entire organization stalls. Confident decision-making isn't about being reckless. It's not about shooting from the hip. It is a disciplined process. It starts with gathering as much relevant data and as many diverse perspectives as possible. It's about listening to your experts, consulting your team, and understanding the facts on the ground. You want to make informed decisions, not just instinctive ones. However, you must also recognize the point of diminishing returns. There will come a time when more information only leads to more confusion, a state of analysis paralysis. This is where courage comes in. A confident leader understands that there is no such thing as 100% certainty. Every important decision involves a leap of faith, a calculated risk. They have the courage to make a call even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. They trust their judgment, their experience, and their team. This confidence is contagious. When a leader makes a clear, committed decision, it gives the team a firm direction to rally behind. It eliminates ambiguity and allows people to focus their energy on execution. And what if the decision turns out to be wrong? A confident leader doesn't hide or place blame. They own it. They see it not as a failure, but as a learning opportunity. They say, I made the best decision I could with the information I had at the time. It didn't work out as planned, so here's what we learned, and here's how we're going to pivot. This combination of decisiveness and humility builds incredible trust. It shows that you are strong enough to lead and humble enough to learn. Accountability is the bedrock of high performance. It's the fundamental agreement that we will do what we say we are going to do. But accountability is not a top-down mandate. It's not about a leader pointing fingers and demanding results. That's not accountability, that's fear. True accountability is a cultural value that is shared by everyone on the team. It starts with the leader, but it must be embraced by all. It is the natural result of a high-trust environment. It begins with absolute honesty. You have to be willing to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly with equal candor. When things are going well, you celebrate it. When things are not going well, you confront the brutal facts without blame or excuses. A culture of accountability is one where anyone, at any level, can raise their hand and say, "We have a problem," or "I made a mistake," without fear of retribution. This psychological safety is crucial because it means problems get identified and solved early, rather than being hidden until they become catastrophes. To foster this, goals must be clear and measurable. Ambiguity is the enemy of accountability. If people don't know what success looks like, how can they be held accountable for achieving it? Leaders must work with their teams to define clear objectives and key results. What are we trying to achieve, and how will we know when we've achieved it? When everyone understands the target, they can align their actions and take ownership of their contribution to the collective goal. This creates a system of shared responsibility. It's not just about individual accountability, it's about team accountability. We succeed or fail together. When someone is struggling, the team doesn't point fingers, they rally to support them. And when mistakes happen, the focus is not on punishment, but on learning. Constructive feedback is given with the intent to help and improve, not to criticize. In this kind of environment, accountability isn't a burden. It's an empowering commitment to excellence that everyone willingly shares. The long-term survival of any organization depends on its ability to innovate, to find new and better ways of doing things. But innovation isn't the result of a single brilliant idea from a lone genius. It's a team sport. It is the outcome of a culture that actively encourages curiosity, experimentation, and diverse thinking. A leader's job is not to be the chief innovator, but to be the chief gardener, to create the fertile ground in which new ideas can sprout and grow. This starts by creating space for creativity. You can't schedule innovation from 2 to 3 p.m. on a Tuesday. It happens when people have the freedom to think, to play with ideas, and to brainstorm without judgment. Leaders can facilitate this by setting up forums for open discussion, where wild ideas are welcomed and no concept is dismissed out of hand. The goal in these sessions is not to find the perfect answer immediately, but to generate a wide range of possibilities. The most groundbreaking ideas often sound crazy at first. To make this work, you must embrace the new. This means being willing to challenge the status quo, even when it's comfortable. The phrase, "but we've always done it this way," is one of the most dangerous in business. An innovative leader actively seeks out dissenting opinions and diverse perspectives. They understand that the best ideas often come from the collision of different viewpoints. They hire people who think differently from them, not people who will simply agree with them. Homogeneity is the enemy of innovation. Finally, you must reward the effort, not just the successful outcome. Innovation is inherently risky. Many new ideas will fail. If people are punished for trying something that doesn't work, they will stop trying. They will retreat to the safety of the known. Leaders must celebrate intelligent failures as learning opportunities. They must reward ingenuity, creativity, and the courage to experiment. When you create a culture where people are safe to try and fail, you unleash their full creative potential to try and succeed. The best leaders I know have one thing in common. They are exceptionally good listeners. Leadership has very little to do with being the one who talks the most. It has everything to do with creating an environment where everyone feels heard. Most of us don't listen with the intent to understand. We listen with the intent to reply. We're just waiting for our turn to talk. But active listening is a different skill entirely. It is a genuine, focused effort to understand the other person's perspective. It requires patience. It means letting someone finish their thought completely, without interrupting. It means being comfortable with silence, giving the other person space to formulate their ideas. It's about asking clarifying questions, not to challenge them, but to deepen your own understanding. Questions like, "Can you tell me more about that?" Or "What led you to that conclusion?" Show that you are engaged and that you value what they have to say. It makes the other person feel respected and validated. When you practice active listening, you must also acknowledge what you've heard. This can be as simple as paraphrasing their point back to them. "So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're concerned about..." This does two things. First, it confirms that you have understood their message accurately. Second, it proves to them that you are actually listening. This simple act of validation is incredibly powerful in building trust and rapport. It shows that their input matters. The final and most critical step is to do something with what you've heard. Listening is pointless if you don't apply the feedback. This doesn't mean you have to agree with every single thing you hear or implement every suggestion, but it does mean you have to show that the input was considered. You can close the loop by saying, "Thank you for that feedback. We've considered it, and here's the decision we've made and why." When people see that their voice can influence outcomes, they become more engaged, more proactive, and more committed to the team's success. The moment you think you know it all is the moment you begin to decline. Leadership is not a destination. It's not a rank you achieve and then you're done. It is a practice, a journey of continuous improvement. The world is dynamic, people are complex, and the challenges of leadership are ever evolving. Therefore, the commitment to being a student is non-negotiable. The best leaders are the most voracious learners. They approach every day with a beginner's mind, open to new ideas and new ways of seeing the world. This commitment to learning goes beyond just reading books or attending seminars, though those things are valuable. It's about cultivating a deep sense of curiosity about everything. It's about asking why and what if relentlessly. It's about being curious about your people. What motivates them? What are their aspirations? What challenges are they facing? It's about being curious about your industry, your customers, and your competition. This curiosity is the engine of growth and adaptation. A huge part of this learning journey is the willingness to accept and actively seek out feedback. A leader who cannot take criticism cannot grow. You must create channels where people feel safe to tell you the truth, even when it's hard to hear. You have to ask questions like, "What could I be doing better?" And "How can I be a better leader for you?" And then you have to listen to the answers without getting defensive. This humility shows your team that you are committed to your own development, which inspires them to do the same. Ultimately, the goal is self-improvement. It's about recognizing that your own growth is inextricably linked to the growth of your organization. As you become a better leader, you create a better environment for your people. As you learn and adapt, so does your team. This journey of learning is never over. It is a daily practice of becoming a slightly better version of yourself than you were yesterday. It is this humble, persistent effort that compounds over time to create extraordinary leadership. Everything we've discussed, leading by example, communicating clearly, empowering others, all of it comes together in service of this final, crucial principle: inspiring a shared vision. A leader's most important job is to give their people a picture of the future that is better than the present. It's about answering the question, where are we going? It's about defining a cause, a just cause, that is so compelling that people are willing to make sacrifices to help advance it. This vision must be clear, simple, and aspirational. It can't be a vague corporate mission statement full of buzzwords. It has to be something people can understand, remember, and feel. It has to articulate a positive future state. For example, Martin Luther King Jr. didn't go around saying, "I have a nightmare." He said, "I have a dream." He painted a vivid picture of a future that people wanted to live in, and they rallied to his side to help build it. That is the power of a shared vision. Once defined, this vision must be communicated over and over and over again. You cannot say it enough. Every decision, every project, every meeting should connect back to this larger purpose. The leader is the chief reminding officer. Your job is to constantly align the daily work with the long-term goals. You have to help people see how their individual contribution, laying that one brick, is essential to building the cathedral. This connection provides meaning, motivation, and resilience, especially during difficult times. When a team is united by a shared vision, something remarkable happens. They are no longer just a group of individuals working alongside each other. They become a cohesive unit moving in the same direction. They are aligned not by rules and regulations, but by a common set of values and a belief in the future they are creating together. This is the ultimate goal of leadership. It's not about managing people's work, it's about stewarding their belief. It's about building something that will outlast all of us. So there we have it, 10 principles that are not just rules, but a way of being, leading by example, communicating the why, empowering your people, staying adaptable, and all the rest. These are not separate tactics to be deployed. They are interconnected elements of a single, coherent philosophy. They all serve one ultimate purpose: to build a circle of safety, an environment of trust and cooperation where people can be at their natural best and work together to advance a common vision. This is the heart of leadership. The journey to becoming the leader you want to be is not easy. It requires constant practice, patience, and a profound sense of humility. There will be days when you fall short. There will be times when you have to own a mistake and ask for help. That's okay. That's part of the process. Leadership is not about being perfect. It's about being present and committed to the well-being of those in your charge. It's a human endeavor, and it requires us to be our most human selves. Remember that you have the capacity to make a profound impact on the lives of your people. The choice to lead is the choice to serve. It's a commitment to create an environment where others can rise. Start with one principle, practice it, master it, then move to the next. The journey is long, but it is the most worthy journey we can take. Because when we get leadership right, we can change the world, one team, one organization at a time. Thank you for tuning in to Tutorial Channel. Leadership is a journey, and applying these principles will help you lead with confidence and purpose. Like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with more expert content on leadership, communication, and personal growth. See you in the next episode.